Hello everyone, my name is Scott Chayko. I'm the Chief Flight Instructor at the Brampton Flight Center. And today we're going to do a second video on our Becoming a Professional Pilot series that's talking more about pilot careers and a traditional career path, starting off with your first aviation flying job, moving on to when you'd be joining a major airline. Now, just like our last video, we're going to start and end with our contact information. This is an extremely complex topic, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. The top name there, Kathy Stewart, is who you'd want to reach out to if you're interested in any of our professional programs. Her email is admissions@bramfly.com, or you can see our number and her extension. Or if you're interested in any of our self-paced programs, you can reach out to Amber McKinney. Her email is info@bramfly.com, and again, you can see her extension there. If you're confused on which program you would want to choose, you can refer to our previous video where it will have more information. Okay, different pilot career opportunities. This is going to be a quick video where we're just really scratching the surface. There are endless opportunities for pilots out there, but we just are going to be touching on some of the major ones. Starting off with flight instruction. So flight instruction is often an entry-level pilot position. However, there are career instructors such as myself. Really, the job is pretty self-explanatory. You are a flight instructor providing safe instruction for the future generation of pilots. Now, something that a lot of people don't realize is that a flight instructor job is not exclusively flying. It can include ground school, it can include administrative positions or supervisory positions. It's not exclusively flying. Now, one thing I should note before moving forward is to become a flight instructor, there is an extra rating that would be required that wasn't covered in our previous video. So the minimum regulatory requirements to become a flight instructor is your commercial pilot's license plus a flight instructor rating. Moving on, we're going to talk about air taxi operations. Air taxi operations are really the smallest type of operators where you're still flying people. For the most part, it's aircraft with less than 10 passengers, serving, at least in Canada, northern communities and more rural communities. An example of this would be hunting and fishing charters. Medevac would also fall under this umbrella. Now, something we should note is air taxi operators, they're really the smallest operators out there for the most part. And it's very demanding work for the pilots because of that. So there isn't a huge infrastructure that is assisting the pilot for the most part. So again, anything like loading passengers, weight and balance calculations, loading bags, it really falls on exclusively the pilot to do all of those things. Moving on, we have our commuter operations. So this is just a little bit of a larger aircraft, so operating with anywhere from 10 to 19 passengers. Again, serving smaller communities, and for the most part, feeding those passengers to larger hubs where they would transition to a major carrier. Again, like we were seeing previously, with these smaller operators, it is pretty demanding work for the pilots just because there isn't that infrastructure that is assisting the pilots with everything they do. So again, weight and balance calculations, maybe even loading bags at a commuter operator could be up to the pilot themselves. Moving up one more size, we move on to the regional airlines. You can see our one of our partner airlines there, Porter, flying aircraft with anywhere from 20 to 70 passengers on board. Again, serving smaller communities, although larger than we would see previously with our previous examples, and feeding them to mainline carriers. Usually shorter flights than you would see with a major airline. And we have a couple examples here, at least in Canada, including Air Canada Jazz, Porter, WestJet Encore, or Sky Regional Airlines. And then after that, we have our major airlines, the one that we're really most familiar with, flying to, of course, domestic locations and international locations as well. And of course, there are flying opportunities all around the world for major airlines. Examples include Air Canada, WestJet, Emirates. There's countless examples. Now, something we should note is this would be a traditional flow through the aviation industry. However, there are examples of a pilot, say, skipping a step, for lack of a better term. We have had instructors, for example, that go right to regional airlines. So while this is a traditional flow through your career, by no means is it set in stone. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we do have our contact info up there. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out.